Good morning, everybody. Welcome to Rhyme of the Times for the weekend, 9th of May 2026. Zack takes some flak and tries to backtrack in the wake of the gold is green attack. Operation Freedom by Iran is not backed, so America has to try a different tack with the peace process going off track. Local elections leave much to unpack as Labour is shellacked, leaving Starmer on the rack, while Farage shows he clearly has the knack. Putin, the war maniac, watches his back, fearing a whack from a drone attack. The outcry from the gold is green stabbings was loud, so to stop Jews being cowed, the PM had vowed that £25 million would go towards security for synagogues and schools and the Jewish community. He also pledged to deal with the existential threat, and that the main threat is Iran. That's a safe bet. And from now on, the police can go in harder on those who call for global intifada. Meanwhile, Zack hit the bummest of notes and then tried to row back for the sake of his votes. The Greens leader retweeted a post that protested about how the Golders Green knife man was arrested. Zack seemed to stab the police officers in the back by criticising how they had curtailed the attack. Kicking a sick man when he's down and neutralised amounted to excessive force in Zack's eyes. When he realised the size of the public pushback, he was all over the media trying to backtrack. On Sunday, Trump had Operation Freedom launched in an attempt to stop the flow of vessels being staunched through the Strait of Hormuz, the world's umbilical cord for ships with precious commercial cargo on board. But Operation Freedom was paused after one day. The Americans had to seek a new way. The plan quickly stalled because Iran just won't play ball. Once more, Trump appears to have got nowhere at all. By the end of the week, the ceasefire seemed to have ceased, as hostility around the strait once more increased. 2 years on from our last general election, the electorates had much time for reflection. At that time, huge disillusionment and apathy had caused many to simply vote ABC. So the pain they feel now, maybe they deserve it if all they chose was anyone but Conservative. There's always, of course, much buyer's remorse. Tactical voting in 2024 was a big cause of why Labour swept in with such great force, with the impression that they were widely endorsed. But their share of the electorate was about a fifth, so the description of landslide is a bit of a myth. But as results trickled in throughout Friday, there was perhaps a bigger story to convey. The winds of change have become a gale. The two main parties were destined to fail. This was the election when we could at last say Britain's two-party system was blown away. The political duopoly is pronounced dead. We are no longer to be ruled by blue or red. It's now a rainbow road ahead that we tread. By all colours and stripes our councils are led. Labour talked of inevitable mid-term blues, which always causes the governing party to lose. In such cases, the official opposition usually wins, but Conservatives also suffered for their sins. The millstone of all those 14 years in control turned into a disastrous, desperate doom scroll through a succession of leaders to take on the role of trying to give the country some meaningful goal. May, Johnson, Truss and Sunak formed a line, and from May to Sunak it led to decline. It may have been good night Starmer, so to say, but it was definitely a good night for Reform UK. Red wall, blue wall, and where there's no wall at all, Reform had the wherewithal to make them all fall. Now controlling 24 councils across the nation, as it stands, Farage is a PM in waiting. But they say in politics a week's a long time, so goodness knows how long it takes to reach 2029. Perhaps the biggest of all Labour's fails was the defeat of the First Minister of Wales. Eleanor Morgan's the first British head, to put it bluntly, to lose their seat when in charge of their country. And in Scotland, SNP once more holds sway, keeping the marauding Reform UK at bay. On Saturday, Putin was Billy No Mates with his ragbag bunch of thugs and reprobates. His Victory Day display was a feeble exhibition, attracting derision more than projecting vision. Putin, looking like a man who's lost control, went to his pal Trump with a begging bowl, asked him to tell Zelensky, that little Nazi, not to do anything really nasty, like raining Ukrainian drones on his parade, while what remains of his army was being displayed. Trump claims it is he who organised the truce, but neither can be trusted to tell the truth. For safety, Putin had closed the internet down. Paranoia gripped him as the circus came to town. But the circus itself was a muted affair, with an absence of hardware seen on Red Square. Very few foreign guests made an appearance, and Putin's speech, as per, lacked coherence, while Zelensky mischievously gave Putin clearance for the event to go ahead with no interference. Maybe someone will write a PhD thesis on the longevity of the Attenborough species. For 74 years the world has rejoiced at the dulcet tones of Richard's soft voice. Over 7 decades as the Beeb's chosen one, describing all natural things under the sun, with wisdom, gravity and a sense of fun. And on Saturday he reached his chronological ton, and the plaudits flooded in for all that he's done.